The College Basketball Experience Preview and Picks edition for Sunday, November 17th edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use that sign-up promo code TCESGPN to claim your 50% deposit up to $1,000. That is the Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL and college basketball with Rhythm's 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today.
Hello, this is Will Wade, head coach of the McNeese Cowboys. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome, everybody, to the College Basketball Experience, baby. Saturday night, well, we're actually previewing Sunday's action. Quite a day in college basketball. A lot of games here. We talked about it last night on the show, a marathon show that usually is the Friday night show. But up and down day, I think I'm sitting around 500 for the day. I got to tally it up because I got games going on in the background. If you're wondering who you're listening to, though, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the College Experience. And joining me to talk college hoops, you guys know him as the host of the College Baseball Experience and the window banging, drywall hanging, LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having, Noah Bieniek, a.k.a. Noah B77. No, what's up, man?
What's going on, Mac? Good day of college sports action in general. Plenty to go around, plenty to talk about here on the college basketball side. For the college football side, I'm being told that that pregame show might not be starting for another, 2 hours. So, I'm filling in for Colby. I've missed a couple of days this week with my chest barking, but today feeling all right. So, ready to jump into this thing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to dive into the slate picks wise on our page because of me just kind of not feeling well yesterday and a little bit of today. But we started off with a double lock that cashed pretty easily, relative ease here. Kennesaw State wins 85-67 over Presbyterian. Both of you guys got that thing early last night. Congrats on starting the day 1-0 with the Owls.
Yeah, swept free too. They rolled. So good win for the Owls. Presbyterian's not very good. That was another takeaway I had on that. Although they beat Wofford earlier in the week. So we'll talk about Wofford here in a second.
Yeah, so we had a double lock that cashed and then back-to-back double locks that did not. NJIT loses by 12 at Morgan State. A little bit of a thumper there. Not sure what this Morgan State team is, but we do know that NJIT is dog shit. And speaking of dog shit, that Wagner offense that only put up 28 points against Seton Hall. They were catching 15.5, but that did not matter.
Real quick, I want to go back to NJIT. They led by 13, and they were up by like 7 or 8 at halftime. So completely self-destructing second half. So that score was a little misleading with how the game flowed. They completely fell apart at the end. But Seton Hall, I guess if they're going to win games, they're going to go the old Virginia style, and they just suffocated the shit out of Wagner. Wagner couldn't get anything going offensively. Held him, to 26 points on 23% from the field. Shout out to Seton Hall. They needed that to snap that losing streak.
I'll admit, I kind of have known that, Seton Hall is going to have to win these low-scoring rock fights. But catching 15.5 and not being able to cover it when the winning team is 54 points,
I know.
That's rough.
That was our whole handicap. Like, we're not laying this many points, but they're only going to score in the mid-50s. Well, if they hold them to 28, I guess they can cover.
I know. Mac, Richmond hit the road to Bucknell and lost. Your thoughts here on the Spiders that continue their early season struggles?
Yeah, another blown lead. They were up 19, as much as 19 in this one. Shout out to Bucknell. Does Bucknell play an overtime game every fucking game? I feel like every single one of Bucknell's games is a thriller that comes down to the wire. Opening night, the comeback win against Delaware, Southern Indiana overtime win on the road, and then back-to-back double overtime games against Mount St. Mary's and Richmond. So 3 overtime games, and it's not even feast week yet for Bucknell. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Noah Williamson again for them. Like, this kid's a baller. 26 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, 5 blocks, and a steal tonight. Just insane. Incredible performance from him. Columbia wins 77-63 today over Mercyhurst. You guys were on Mercyhurst last night. Any takeaways from this one? Did you catch any of this?
I did. I watched like the second half, a majority of it. Columbia just finds ways to win games. I mean, they nice little pull away at the end of that game. That's I know it's Mercyhurst, but hey, when the target's on your back, now you're 5-0 for the first time since I think 2005. So shout out to Columbia, making things happen.
Yeah, for sure. And Duke 86-35 over Wofford. Colby locked this up, so kudos to him. But holy shit, did they destroy the Terriers today?
Dude, Wofford blows. Like we said that they were a bust team in the SoCon because they had all that hype. I think
you called them a bust. I had them picked 5th, but sure, it might not be the season you were hoping to have.
But no, it wasn't like Kempom or Bartorvik, one of them saying that they were going to finish first.
Or Torvik. Yeah. Torvik was
way on there
because they returned like some of the most production from last season, so, with Corey Tripp being main star. But today, just 2 for 7 from 3. 12 points. So tough day at the office for Wofford. Xavier, this place was lit against Wake Forest. The Musketeers win by 15 against the Demon Deacons. This was the double lock on last night's show as well on Xavier. You guys cash here again. Did you catch any of this one?
Yeah, Xavier played well. Skip Prosser, classic here. Xavier's physical. They look like an old Sean Miller team. I like what I'm seeing from them. They should be a top 4 easy Big East team with how bad the Big East is.
Cornell wins 81-71 over Lafayette. VMI 11-point win against Charleston Southern 80-69 in the consolation game of that Greenbrier Classic. And Notre Dame goes into Washington, D.C. and roots Georgetown 84-63. You can touch on 2 of those minor games, or you can eat the crow with Georgetown. This was a double lock on the Hoyas last night.
Yeah, we fell for the Hoyas shit. I think we need to have it's still early, obviously, but I think it's concerning that they got blown out. I think you look at Micah Shrewsbury, they're building their program the same way Georgetown's trying to do it. They said we're going to rebuild it year by year, get freshmen in here, and Notre Dame is way ahead of Georgetown. So
they've got a huge class coming for the next year too.
Yeah, Ed Shrewsbury's running a better program than Ed Cooley is my big takeaway. They looked way more prepared. They played harder, and they sure as hell executed better today. Fucking what's the white kid's name? He made every fucking 3 when he was open today. He was unreal. Every time I looked up,
Oloko
yes,
he's the Princeton transfer.
Yes, God, he was on fire. He only had 17 points. God, I felt like he had 37. He made 3s.
I have him on our TCE fantasy, like my fantasy team in our TCE league.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to drop him because I need bodies for Sunday's matchup to try to. I'm playing against Captain Insano, so I needed bodies. So unfortunately, Aloco, I mean, tip my cap to you, but he was one of my like lowest fantasy scoring players, so I had to dish him to the waiver wire for some guys that play on tomorrow's slate. But yeah. I'm a huge fan of this Notre Dame team, and they're going to shoot the hell out of the ball. They shot at 43% from three, 70% from inside the arc. Really good day at the office for the Fighting Irish. Boston cashes a double lock. They win by 28. They were favored by 3.5 last night. We just got to continue fading this Dartmouth team, right?
They're horrible. That was a lock for me, Boston. So they're due for a win, and Dartmouth is a great get-right team. Dartmouth's fucking terrible. My God.
Brutal. Youngstown State put up 95 points at Syracuse today. But the Orange won 104-95.
Yeah, Syracuse is going to struggle to get to the NIT. I mean, I know people are like, a win's a win, 3-0, but is really a win in the grand scheme of things? You get penalized if you don't blow out your bye games. And they have not come close to blowing out the bye games, whether it was Lemoyne, whether it was who was it? Colgate? Colgate's not even good.
Yeah,
and then,
Colgate.
And then Youngstown should have fucking won, man. They gave that game away.
Two under the radar-ish games on this early slate that were both double locks for you and Colby. UT Martin was catching a ton of points last night against Longwood. You guys double locked the Skyhawks here. And then St. Peter's wins 69-61 at UMBC. They were also catching points. So two confusing lines here, creating a little bit of value. You guys cashed both double locks there. Did you catch any of these games in what was, a large early slate? And these were not some of the more attractive games, but what'd you have here?
St. Peter's was undervalued because they were 0-3 on if you just look at the record, but they're not bad. I actually like that team. So they got a big win over UMBC in a pick'em game. And then what was UT Martin's got to be kicking themselves. They led that game for 38 minutes. Longwood, shout out to them, 4-0. They were outplayed today, but they found a way to win.
Yeah, I'm catching up with the YouTube chat here too. Avetta saying 100% Syracuse can't keep dodging the bullets, but Phil Remy also reminding us that Carmelo's kid just committed to Syracuse too. So maybe he's a dog. Who knows?
He ain't gonna help this year's team.
Yeah, but I think that was a counter to me saying that Notre Dame had a really good recruiting class coming in for the next year too. Western Illinois, 63-61 over Central Arkansas. The Leathernecks just kind of have underperformed my expectations here in the preseason so far this season. That was an unimpressive win via the scoreboard there. Indiana State goes into Muncie, wins a rivalry game, 94-84. First win in the new era under the new head coach for the Sycamores, Mac.
Yeah, Matthew Graves, the promoted assistant to a head coach for Schertz, really needed that because they had struggled out of the gates. And then what was the first game that you said?
I just ran through Western Illinois against Central Arkansas.
Oh yeah, I want to add to that. Western Illinois, man, they look way worse than they did last year.
Yeah, and
they should have lost that game. That was like the Longwood game where they trailed the entire game and then they stole it at the end.
Yeah, and based off of like the returning production that they had and the year that they had the year prior, I thought Western Illinois might have been one of the players in the league this year, but not looking like it early. Before we get to the rest of the games here on the Saturday slate that we're recapping, if you haven't downloaded the SGPN app already, you're missing out because that app, the SGPN app, allows you to access all the podcasts on the network and the picks pages all in one convenient app. Plus, you can if you like all our content, the app is completely free. Type in SGPN in your app store, to download it today. And we're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. SGPN started out with MyBookie, and now we're back. Check out the new and improved website, which is great on mobile now. Plus props for every game and live dealer casino. You can even get in on some early cash out options. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And we're back here on the College Basketball Experience. Noah Bieniek joined alongside Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac. We're running through these Saturday games. A really good slate that was, a little overshadowed by all the college football action. But LaSalle wins Pennsylvania battle, Eastern Pennsylvania battle, that'd be it. 71-68 over Drexel. Was not expecting Drexel to be a very good team this season. They had lost a lot from last year. But Spiker, I thought, was a solid coach. He might have been able to keep this program steady. But Dunphy, Mac, your boy, who goes in and wins 71-68.
Yeah, they blew a big lead. They were up, I think, 15-20, and then Drexel came all the way back, took the lead at the end, and then LaSalle's able to make a layup and make 2 free throws. So it depends what number you got. I think it ended up actually going off at 4.5. So depends on what number you got if you won this game or not. But dude, Dunphy 4-0, baby, let's go. They got Temple next. Fuck Temple.
We also had Stetson traveled to Oklahoma, where the Sooners won 85-64. This was a cover. The Hatters last night were 25.5 on the show. Both of you and Colby took the Hatters here. Not too much that I think you can take away from that matchup. Still going to want to see what Oklahoma can deliver against a little bit more of a talented opponent. But Mac, we kind of need to talk about this one. This was an interesting coaching battle between Colby's guy and your guy last night. And today it took place. Bethune-Cookman wins 75-62. Reggie Theus comes out on top against Eric Martin.
Yeah, South Carolina State. I was disappointed. I don't think Bethune's very good. So that was kind of a disappointing loss for South Carolina State. Maybe they didn't have as many legs, they didn't have their legs as much coming off that Jacksonville game. So good win for Bethune. They found a way. What's Bethune on the year? Just out of curiosity. I know Colby acts like they're like 10-2. That was their first win of the year. Daniel and the Jetsons are good. I don't think they're very good. They're 1-3, and that was their first win.
They've competed, I guess. Only a 5-point loss to Nebraska. I think Texas Tech's good. They blew them out, but you shouldn't be losing by 28 to Fort Wayne. So
yeah, they got drilled by 20 plus to Fort Wayne. So
sorry, that's 22, not 28. I need to work on my math. Missouri State 111-106 win over Tulsa. Triple overtime thriller here. Mac, did you catch any of this?
I did not. I can't speak to this game. Wild.
Radford 92-81 over Evansville. Good to see Radford get on the board there. A road win at the Purple Aces.
Dude, they were down 22 in the first half and fucking rally and win by 11. That was one of the crazier games under the radar games of the day. So shout out to Darius Nichols and Radford, winners of 3 in a row for the Highlanders.
And the Mexicans win 83-58 against Tennessee Tech. This was I don't know what happened here, but you don't have a pick on the picks page here. Colby locked up the Mexicans UTRGV. In this one, what's up?
because they didn't put the line out till like 7 a.m. this morning. I just forgot. I punched all the picks in at like 3:30 a.m. last night, and the game wasn't up because it was
it was the championship of that Greenbrier. Yeah. So
dude, the Mexicans are good this year. I kind of like them.
Yeah, I mean the cocktail napkin. We were high on them in the preseason show, so they landed on the cocktail napkin, and we've been cashing pretty early with the Rio Grande. Idaho State 78-66 over San Diego. They go into Steve Lavin's place of residation. Is that reside?
It's going to be resignation here soon with the fucking dude. They've lost home games to Rider, Portland State, and Idaho State.
It's crazy.
Come on, San Diego. Like that's like a perfect 4-0 start to start the year, at least 3-1, and they're terrible. Woo.
Yeah. Idaho covered against BYU. This was a double lock on last night's show. You guys had the Cougars. They sneak in the back door in this one. Actually, I don't even know if this was really a back door. They were only down like 14 at half. So, anything on this game? Did you catch any of this?
I did not catch this game.
Yegor Demen had 16 and 7 with 3 steals and 3 blocks. 6'9" point guard. That's 3 blocks is kind of crazy in the backcourt. Rice 77-75 over Northwestern State. This is double lock on last night's show on the Demons plus 9.5.
Yeah, man, they should have won this game. They were up by 1 with 5 seconds left and couldn't get a fucking stop at the end. That's a killer, man. Rick's gonna be kicking himself that they could have won a bye game here.
Yeah, that went into overtime there. Vanderbilt kind of had their hands, I guess, a little bit more than what they would like to have gotten in a challenge against Jackson State. But this was a double lock on last night's show with you guys. You guys took the Tigers. They only lose by 13, 94-81 against Vanderbilt in Nashville. Shout out to you guys for the double lock going against their guy, Team TCE, but comes through.
He was favored by 25.5. I mean, goddamn. I'm sorry, man. I know Vandy covered a couple big numbers here recently, but God, get out of here with some of these 25.5. Who are they? Freaking like Arkansas and Auburn and Alabama now. I agree, Julio. They're fucking USD is horrible. They are on a bet list. They're terrible.
Yeah. And Caden asking if Idaho State is decent this year. I would say decent's the correct term. I wouldn't place any expectations on them. But I kind of think they'll kind of compete to be a middle seed in the Big Sky tournament this season. It's another year of wait and see. So
yeah, I would say decent is fair. They're improved.
Yeah. What in the world happened with this line? Arkansas State wins 59-49 over Stephen F. Austin, but this line moved like crazy throughout the day.
Yeah, it went off at like what, 10?
11. Colby got it at 11 on the picks page.
What, for SFA?
Yeah.
I mean, Arkansas State's good. They won it with defense today. I was actually more impressed how they won today than if they had just made a bunch of fucking threes.
Yeah, you win in different styles. It's even more impressive. So yeah, I might be eating crow on my preseason prediction of Arkansas State. We'll see. Eastern Michigan drops another dud at Cleveland State. The Vikings win 71-63. This is another game where Colby got just enough of the number to be able to cover on the picks page. He had 8.5 with the Eagles. They lose by 8. You got the push picking Vikings as your lock from last night.
I know I should have won this.
Not much to add on that game, honestly, in my opinion. Indiana wins 87-71. They looked really good today against the Gamecocks. This was a double lock on last night's show. You were both on the Hoosiers. I was impressed with Indiana, and they didn't even get a typical Umar Ballo, whatever performance.
Yeah, I thought Indiana. I think Indiana's actually pretty good. I mean, they have enough talent. They paid for the fucking roster, and I felt like that. I don't know if I gave that as my favorite play. I felt like that one was easy, man. Them at home Saturday afternoon against South Carolina, who I don't think is very good. Just felt like a great spot for them to pull away. It was sweaty a little bit there, but Indiana never felt like they were not going to cover that game.
Yeah, I always say that Umar Ballo is a walking double-double. He almost got it with blocks today instead of points. So he almost had it rebounds and blocks.
Dude, them and Michigan are huge, like size-wise.
Yeah, but Michigan
with their 2 7-footers, and then Indiana with just the size in the front court at all 3 positions.
Michigan's huge, but it's a little alarming to me that they're not really rebounding it that well. Something to watch moving forward. SIU Edwardsville wins by 18 against Canisius. Good Lord, did I not see this one coming. 76-58. You locked up the Golden Griffins too.
Yeah, I tried to beat it SIU finally, and I got cute. I shouldn't have gone against my boys. Did they might have been like the team of the week in college basketball, Edwardsville. They went to Indiana State and won as like a 9-point underdog.
Yeah.
Then they played Western Michigan yesterday as like, what, a 3-point underdog and won by 20. Then today, for an encore, they just beat Canisius by 20. So 3 just solid-ass wins. Definitely the most under-the-radar team in college basketball this week from like a quality resume standpoint.
Yeah, they win that little 3-team MTE in Kalamazoo. Good showing there from SIUE. Abilene Christian. This, I think you guys talked about this one smelling last night. 72-60 victory over Texas State.
I'm kicking myself. I didn't bet this. I should have. That was Abilene Christian desperate ass spot in my opinion. And Texas State, I don't think they're very good, man.
I don't know if like expectations were too high on the Bobcats either. But yeah, were you talking about Simon's comment here?
Yeah, it's what happens when you don't have the soundboard. You can't. Yeah. There's not just fucking George Bush spewing out Dan Marino and his wife.
Yeah, and honestly, like honestly, it hurts to laugh still for me personally. Yeah. So I got to keep it in somewhat check. Minnesota didn't even cover 4 against Yale. Once again, Barnes overrated. The Bulldogs almost win at Minnesota here. The Golden Gophers win 59-56.
See how this ended?
No, I did not.
Fucking Yale.
I did.
Yale hit a fucking 3 at the buzzer. Yeah. Fuck that. I will say Yale was probably the right side for the game. They led the game for 30 minutes. But God,
yeah, this was like a 14-point comeback for Minnesota, right?
Yeah, honestly, I would say that's a gut check win for Minnesota because they dropped the North Texas home game earlier in the week. I put stock into that. Like when your back's against the wall, you're not playing well, you just drop the game and you nut up and you find a way to win a game when you don't play well. So shout out to Minnesota. Good win.
Yeah, and John Poulikaitis put up 21 for Yale. Good performance there. Ole Miss, this was like a quadruple lock on the picks page here. Slightly neutral, but really just a home game for the Rebs here. They cover the 3.5, which was a criminal number against Colorado State. I think it was Daniel that was talking about this earlier in the chat, that this was just way too cheap on a Rebels team with Colorado State coming into town, and we really don't know what the Rams have to offer for us this season. So congrats on the double lock on last night's show, but everybody that put on picks on the page today all locked up Ole Miss.
Yeah, I guess my only regret is I didn't put more money on Ole Miss. I think the line kind of scared me off in terms of I was like, what the hell am I missing? I don't think Colorado State's good this year. is there an injury? But I mean, hey, I made a little bit of money off Ole Miss. They finally showed up. I mean, they had been dog shit for 2 weeks or 2 games. They just had that cute little number next to their name carrying the weight for the last couple games, but they looked good today. They looked the part today.
Yep. And before we finish up the rest of the slate of recap, let's take another quick break for Underdog Fantasy. And their pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports, whether it be NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, and more. You can now use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And the college basketball's Experience's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. You can build your own model or copy one of the top-performing ones from the leaderboard, and Rhythm will give you projections and stats to back their picks up. You can now track props in the Rhythm app and NFL picks, props, college football, college basketball, NBA. Rhythm has it all. Rhythm has models for it all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, and we are home free here today on the College Basketball Experience. Noah Bieniek joined alongside Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Moneyline Mac, and he's kind of recapping the entire slate of action. I'm running through, giving out all the scores here. We'll zoom through. South Alabama wins 75-66 over Mercer. Incarnate Word 92-64 over Arkansas Pine Bluff. Little Rock 81-64 over UTSA. Any input, any analysis that you want to add for those 3 games there?
Somebody needs to take an APB out on Pine Bluff. What the fuck? How do you lose by 30 to Incarnate Word?
It's rough.
I need to
rough.
Let me take out my pencil over here and just fucking write that down. Like, what? How? How is it even mathematically possible to lose the Incarnate Word by 30? I saw that score and I was like, oh God, I need to see this.
So Mac, we have to address a double overtime thriller that was taking place in Greenville today. And it featured the East Carolina Pirates pulling out a 1-point victory over George Mason. Yes, you heard that correctly. Colby Dant's school that he went to, 78 over Nick Dant's school that he went to, 77. A 1-point victory for the younger brother, and he's not going to shut up about it for the rest of the year.
This is Mason, like. He locked Mason last night.
It was the good old what the hell? The reverse hedge. You hedge the happiness. Right?
Chat, make sure you guys report Colby to Ryan and Sean that he locked up George Mason against his alma mater. I will say I lock against the Redskins almost every week because I've been trying to that streak finally snapped where they I was trying to reverse psychology and emotional hedge, but I mean ECU fucking good win. I don't know how good they are. I'm still not going to.
Neither do I. I'm going to have to readjust expectation for either George Mason or East Carolina, but it might be George Mason.
Dude, all right, I think that's a good transition. Like, what are we doing with Mason? I
don't know.
They're a shit show. They look like, from a talent standpoint, they look the part, but I don't know what I'm getting with Tony Skinn. I know it's only his second year running that program, and they looked all right last year, but
I was not high on them at all last year, and they kind of overperform expectation. This year, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think this roster is even better than they were last year. Tony Skinn in year 2, I think there might be an even better outcome to come this year. And, losing outright to Central Michigan and East Carolina in the same week is not a great look.
Hell no.
So,
yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, I don't know if Colby's going to take offense to the maybe negative connotation comment there, but East Carolina is not one of the better rosters here in the AAC this season. So
they
I don't
they
know.
Are they 4-0?
ECU's 4-0.
Yeah, so who do they got next? Just out of curiosity, like what's
they head down to Daytona for an MTE this week.
Okay, so they got Jack State. Interesting. I'm looking at their non-conference schedule, ECU. It is fucking soft as shit. So maybe ECU could like backdoor their way into like a 17, 18, 19 win season.
Ken Pom has them as a one-loss team in the non-conference.
Yeah, because it's Cupcake City. I mean, they got Carolina, A&T. Wilmington's all right. At South Carolina, North
Mason's
Alabama.
Good. I mean, that was a good win. That's going to hold up, I think.
They played 2 D2s. How are they allowed to play 2 D2s at ECU? That's usually what the mid-majors are supposed to play.
I don't know. We're going to continue on here. That was
be happy, though. He'll be talking about that Mount Olive win
all year. I mean, the first show that NC Nick comes on here, I mean, he's going to hear about it. So, Murray State 88 over Middle Tennessee State 67, and the Blue Raiders are going to be good this year. I think. I think they're going to be improved, and Murray State just looks really good.
I watched Murray against at Pitt, and I know somehow Pitt ended up covering that ridiculous number, but like Murray State was toe to toe with Pitt the entire way till about 4 minutes left in the game. I love Murray. I love Murray. I think. I mean, I picked them to win the Missouri Valley.
You did.
They have good guards, man.
Yeah, Kyron Lindsey came off the bench today. 27 points. He attempted 16 shots.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous of a stat line there off the bench for the Racers. 27 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 5 blocks off the bench. Incredible. Toledo 82-67 over Detroit Mercy. The Rockets, they decided to aim at the hospital and it landed. Yeah. Yeah. I think wasn't this at the hospital too? Yeah. So it was at the hospital. So the hospital is no longer standing. Bonaventure 71-52 over Lemoyne. Barely fucked a double lock here. 1 point off of a cover and a double lock cash
today. I got hooked to death today on some of these numbers. I could have had a really good day if some of this shit just flipped in my direction. But hey, it's part of the game. Good win, Bonnies. Bonnies are undefeated. Let's go.
Yeah, New Hampshire's a disaster this season. They lose by 17 at Sacred Heart.
Ow! Ow!
That's terrible. Terrible. Missouri Valley State's new Twitter account's very fun. I don't know if you're failed. Would you what?
Full disclosure, I bet Mississippi Valley at plus 44 right before tip. I said if it got north of 40, I would grab them. And god damn, they should have covered.
You lost by the hook.
I know. These fucking guys, dude, they were down like 10 and a half or something. I don't, maybe it was 15, but it was like, oh my god.
The new Twitter account's awesome. Like
dude,
they just started it earlier this week, and they've already got 1,000 followers in like 3 days.
Yeah.
The whoever's running it is doing an outstanding job, because they posted it today, like that they just reached 1,000 followers, and that they're so excited to keep bringing awesome basketball and content. Like the basketball and content was separate from each other.
Whose idea was this? Like to troll, to be so bad that you troll yourself for more traffic and more, dude. Like I know it's they the coach has got to be kind of pissed, like that they're trolling how bad they are. But at the same time, they brought in more notoriety to their program and brand with trolling their own team. And
instead of posting a halftime score, they posted the meme of the one dude throwing a horns down in front of the kid in a shopping cart. Like,
I love it.
Just so great. The Delta Devils, they just missed covering, but good Lord, is the Cannabis Capper goes, the Delta Devils team total under hits again.
How do you not cover 44 when you're only down 10 at half? Just lose by 37 for God's sake. That's all I'm asking.
It's rough. Not ideal. You want to know what else is not ideal? Green Bay threatening Providence.
Yeah, bad. Providence
but
sucks.
That's the second time Green Bay has kind of threatened a lower tier power conference team. Like you looked at the Oklahoma State game opening night. They were within 10 for most of it. You look at the Providence game, they were within 10 for most of it. Green Bay, maybe they're okay. We'll see how they do against similar competition. And when it comes down to maybe a little bit more coaching than it does talent. But Providence Washington Skins from Twitter. He goes, Providence looks better, Mac. You watch your mouth. Missed free throws for the cover, he says.
I have not been. They better get Bryce Hopkins back, or they're going nowhere fast. And I am not a big believer in Kim. I'm not a believer in Kim English either.
I don't know. Last year, I would have said Tony Skim made Kim English look really bad. This year, they're about on the same level. So, East Tennessee State loses by 6. Another hook on a double lock that goes the other way. Davidson 76, ETSU 70. You guys double locked this on the picks page and show last night at 5.5.
Worst beat of the day. There's a 2-point game with 2 seconds left in the game. Davidson made 2 free throws. I don't even know how they didn't cover. So somebody tell me, because I turned it off, and then I come back and I saw they lost by 6. So I don't know if they threw it away on the inbounds, then fouled, and they lost by 6. But Davidson made 4 free throws in the last 3 seconds. That was brutal.
I don't know what to say because I didn't catch the ending there. Georgia Southern 89, Winthrop 87. The Eagles cover. This was a lock of yours on last night's show. They covered the 5 there, and impressive win. Like this is a squad that I liked here in the preseason. I kind of labeled that it would take them a little bit of time, but Winthrop had some good continuity coming into the year. This is a home game. I'm impressed by the Screaming Eagles, by the Eagles.
Yeah, Charlie Henry, they're much improved from last year. They finished strong at the end of last year. Like they were a dumpster. They were like 2-16.
Well, they struggled in non-conference, but once they got in the conference play, they did fine. Yeah,
and then they almost beat App State in that quarterfinal game.
Yeah,
they pushed them to death. I mean, so unbelievable.
Portland wins 63-61 over Long Beach State. Kansas, what'd you say?
I said Long Beach is terrible.
Kansas curb stomps Oakland 78-57. But honestly, like I don't know if that was like enough for me to be impressed with Kansas, as bad as that sounds. Like Boise beat this Oakland team by 40. Mac, you guys double locked Bowling Green 24.5 last night. They only lose by 14. They gave Michigan State all they could handle. And did you catch any of the highlights that came out from everybody's new favorite mid-major star?
The big fella?
Yeah, from Bowling Green. Marcus Johnson. He honestly reminds me of
he was good.
He honestly reminds me of the big white point forward from Loyola Chicago a couple of years ago. He can shoot a 3. He can play in the post, and he can pass. Like he's a pretty good passer. So, yeah, that highlight clip or whatever got a lot of attention today.
He played well. Yeah, I did watch this, and I wanted to fade Kansas. I couldn't pull the trigger just because the game was at the Fog, but it was. I was fading the teams coming off the Champions Classic, and then Kansas has a look-ahead spot, and then Sparty. I mean, they were like 24.5. I was like, what?
Yeah,
that's too big a number against Bowling Green, and they had just played an emotional game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, so this Marcus Johnson's a senior.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, 6'7" center. In this game, he was 1 for 11 from 3, but coming in, he was 7 of 14. So he was shooting at 50% before the state game, and the state's D kind of locked him up volume-wise there. But him and Javante Campbell, and also Yusuf Kayat, the Michigan transfer. He put up 13 points today. 7 of them were from the free throw line, but good to see him get his lick in against Michigan State. I love that. Overtime thriller in Charleston. Liberty, good Lord. They had a win. Honestly, Florida Atlantic, impressive game, because this was a back-to-back game, or games in back-to-back days for the Owls here. And then they're going to stay in Charleston now because they're playing in the Charleston Classic this week. Yeah. So, they're going to have some fun in Charleston now after a win. That was a big win because to go 0-2 and then just kind of linger in Charleston, that would have been painful. 2 overtime losses, but they get the win here by 3, 77-74 over the Flaming Libs.
Back-to-back nights, I've been on the wrong – not on the wrong – like I ended on the wrong side, but I feel like I had the right side both times. I had FAU last night. They blew the 4-point lead in double overtime. And then Liberty blows the lead tonight. Brutal in this fucking MTE for me in Charleston. But yeah,
the games are delivering though. Like shout out to Field of 68 for putting these things together, because the second year with these 3 teams, like all 3 of them are great mid-major programs. They've delivered. Like I think on literally every single game. All 3 games last year, both games so far this season, great.
I wish the only thing I wish that was different is I wish it was in the middle of the week so we could get more eyeballs on it, not buried on a college football Saturday.
Yeah,
and then
NFL Sunday.
Last night was a loaded slate. Like if it had been like a nice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday event, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, that's an all right point. Northeastern, took care of Central Connecticut State today. 80-62 victory over the real Blue Devils for those Huskies. Northeastern's getting it done this season. They're making a little bit of an impression on me this year. Solid start to the year. Marshall 83-62 over Bellarmine. And then Albany wins the inner city battle here between Siena, 70-60. Those 3 matchups, you can take it anywhere for analysis. Go ahead.
Bellarmine, Bill Cohen's got those guys playing. What are they, 4-0? Northeastern 4-0 now? No, 3-1. They lost a heartbreaker to Princeton on Friday, Sunday. So now they play FIU next week. So shout out to Bill Cohen. I've always loved the Northeastern program and just how they run it.
And they've played all pretty local schools: Boston, Princeton, Harvard, Central Connecticut. That's how it should be.
They're not a fraud 3-1. Like they've played good teams, like you said. They've played teams on their level, not SWAC and MEAC teams.
Yeah. Cannabis Cap, we're saying Blarmy. I didn't call them by their TCE name. Blarmy. My apologies. And TVDBJ says Northeastern is a wagon. The Screaming Eagles of Southern Indiana kind of got force-fed here at Purdue Fort Wayne, 93-74. The Mastodons looked like the real deal this season, Mac. Creighton wins by 23 against UMKC. The Blue Jays 79-56. No real threat there to another Big East team losing a bye game. Mount St. Mary's 66, St. Francis 58. This is a double lock that was dispelled from last night. The Mount, they get a good W and cover this thing by a point to usurp the double lock. Those 3 games, you could take it any way you want. Go ahead. I think I might know where you're going to lead.
St. Francis. Yeah, another one by the hook. God damn, I lost so many goddamn games by the hook today. St. Francis missed a layup at the buzzer to cover. Wide open.
I did not see that.
Fucking missed it. It was like, oh my god, disgusting. But yeah, Fort Wayne looks good. Fort Wayne looks apart.
They do.
They went to UCF and they looked solid as well in a loss. But yeah, we had Kaufman on in the offseason, liked his team, and you can see why. Yeah, the 2 games that they've played, I would say inferior opponents, they've blown out now. So that's wagon type material so far from a Horizon League team. I like to see it. Holy Cross 73 over Browns 65. Colby locked up the Crusaders, so shout out to him here. VCU in your backyard, 83-57 win over Loyola, Maryland. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you 3 games. This is the game that you're probably going to want to start off with. Hofstra goes into Amherst and they win 75-71 over UMass. This was a lock from you on Frank Martin and his squad, but I wouldn't say a loss to Hofstra is nothing to hang your head about. The Pride, really solid program in the CAA. Go ahead, those 3 matchups. Anything that you want to add there? UMass got fucking screwed by the refs. They were up 1, they got an and 1, and they should have been at the free throw to make it a 4-point game with like 30 seconds, and they called a fucking charge, and it was not a fucking charge. So yeah, I mean, give Hofstra some credit, to beat who they just beat. They beat Seton Hall, and then go to UMass and get a win. Speedy Claxton's got a good team. So yeah, I see Daniel's already written off the Minutemen. Holy overreaction. Frank just fucking won 20 games at UMass last year, and now he's done after 4 games, apparently. North Carolina Central beats William & Mary by 2, 78-76. This was a double lock on last night's show. Also a double lock that cashed was Florida Gulf Coast. They were in a tight one throughout against Drake. They were winning by 1 at half. They lose by 2 in the full game. Drake wins 63-61, but the double lock cashed. The Eagles were catching double digits against the Bulldogs. That was a double lock from you guys. So, back-to-back cashes there for you guys in this slate. Anything you want to add here? I would put who were a couple home teams that had no business winning today? Longwood, and then there was like another 1 or 2 that just completely sold the game. Throw Drake into that. They trailed a majority of that game, but give them credit. They found a way to get it done, and an easy cover for Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast is just such a head-scratching program. I can't figure them out ever. I'm glad we were on the right side finally. Yeah. Norfolk State wins 67-58 against Hampton here. Tennessee State 81-71 over Alabama A&M. Also another lock that you cashed was St. Louis 77-71 over Loyola Marymount. And also another lock was Towson 67 over James Madison 63. Impressive rattle off 3 straight locks there that you cashed to one of the last slates of the day. I did. Yeah, I got hot. Well, I didn't get so hot late in the day or in this late window. But yeah, it's dude, I like Towson. I know everybody, we were all on them against South Carolina, but that was not an indicative of how good they are. I think this is a really good team. Yeah. And I think that's a solid win against James Madison. Hell yeah. And St. Louis getting a comfortable W without Robbie Avila. They'll have to keep doing that a little bit more here in the non-conference, unfortunately. Cal State Northridge wins 79-69 over Sac State. That was unfortunately a lock for you. Also another
unfortunate lock that loses by the hook was Bradley hosting Northern Illinois. The Braves win 76-60. Usually a 16-point win for the Valley over the MAC would mean a cover, but Northern Illinois is just that bad, and they were able to sneak this one in.
Yeah, and I think I saw Jerry Davis talk about it in the chat. Dude, Sac State was up like 15 in this game. They completely choked this game away. Like this was another one where a team led for 30 plus minutes and then the wheels fell off. This one was more similar to the Radford Evansville game where the wheels just completely fall off. And then somehow, what'd they end up losing by? 12?
I don't know. I refreshed my page so I could get the last result.
I think they ended up losing by double digits, and they were
16.
Oh my God, they were up 15 early in the game. Yeah, and it was like a tie game with like 7 minutes left. So wow. And then Bradley kind of went.
Oh, sorry, no. The Northridge Sac State game was 10-point loss.
10-point loss. Okay.
Yeah.
Sac State hit him in the mouth, and then you give Northridge credit; they just kept fighting, and they got it all the way back.
A couple of results that have recently gone final within the last hour. So just getting our picks page refreshed here. Southern Utah wins 79-73 over Omaha. That was a lock cashed for Colby. Wyoming, 86-69 victory over Utah Tech, a.k.a. Dixie State. Fresno State was a double lock that unfortunately fell flat on their face. Bakersfield wins 74-56 over the Bulldogs. Those three games, Mac, you can take it any which way for analysis.
Is Bakersfield good? They're not bad.
Yeah,
I've watched them a couple times, man. For them to drill Fresno, I like Fresno this year. And even Bakersfield fucked them up.
And even last year, like I thought they were feisty in the non-conference under Rod Burns too. Yeah. Maybe they could be okay.
I'm still scarred from that North Dakota State game on Monday night.
They don't really challenge themselves in the non-conference this season to really see if we get a good gauge on them. They do play. So they played Cal on opening night. Their next best non-conference game opponent is Northeastern on November 24th. We'll see them against probably the top two teams in the conference early in December. They give us a little taste of Big West conference play. They play UC Irvine and UC San Diego on the road. We'll know how good Bakersfield is here in the next couple of weeks.
I agree. I like what I've seen, though, through four or five games from them.
The World Tour came to a halt Saturday night.
Yeah.
San Francisco abused our Chicago State Cougars.
Oh, dude, is San Francisco like a top 25 team?
We're locking them against Memphis, by the way. Before Memphis goes to Maui, San Francisco's a lock against the Tigers.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm tired of eating shit with fading Memphis in November. Fucking Penny's like a Hall of Famer in fucking November. He beats everybody in November and December. He's like the Cliff Kingsbury of college basketball. And then January and February, you can't even recognize his team anymore.
I'm calling it. San Francisco looks like they're the best team on planet Earth right now. So, I'm taking them there. Seattle wins 84-71 at UC San Diego.
Finally,
where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
Seattle had looked nothing like this the first three games, and that's why you locked them in a lock battle against Colby, who was on the Tritons here. You just believed in the Seattle program, eh?
They're 0-3. They're due. This was a due play. I mean, they're not 0-3, about to be 0-4 bad. So finally, they get one done away from the Crack House.
Yeah, and then UC Irvine wins 80-62 over Pepperdine. Unfortunate, Colby talked himself into a lock on this matchup last night on the show, and this one fell just short. The last game of the slate was a total blowout. Nevada 85, Santa Clara 59. My Broncos look like dog shit now. All of a sudden, they look great opening night against St. Louis. The game was really, really good, really fun on opening night, and they've looked nothing like that since. So I got nothing to add on Santa Clara. I don't know what team this is right now.
I mean, I'm going to do my top 25 tomorrow night. Nevada may need to get ranked.
I like Nevada this year.
They're fucking drilling teams. Look at who they've drilled. Sam Houston, Conference USA defending champ. Washington, they're not as good, but they're still a Pac-12 or Big Ten team. Weber, I don't know what we think of Weber. Maybe Weber's not as bad because they keep playing fucking these good teams. And then Santa Clara. I mean, Nevada at 4-0. I can't wait for Nevada, Vandy, and Charleston on Thursday.
I can't wait for the net ranking for Nevada because 4 blowout wins against 4 quality teams.
I know it.
That's a top 20 net, maybe top 25.
Well, if they take care of business in Charleston this weekend, because they're going to have 3 quality games. If you go 1-2, then all of a sudden your net's going to tank. But if they go 2-1, they're going to have a hell of a net. But Nevada, Vandy Thursday night in what's it called, Charleston, and I think the winner gets VCU.
Oof.
Who does VCU play? VCU's going to beat whoever they play. But either way, great side of the region to look ahead to.
Let's talk about game balls.
Nevada.
Writing down my – that's a good call. I'm writing down our timestamp for the game balls here. You're going Nevada for game 1?
I think I am. I'm going to do a cumulative game ball number 1. I just read off their schedule. They have not played Cupcake City, and they're just killing teams. So Nevada, game ball number 1 for me.
That's solid. Not a bad look. Not a bad look. I'm going to give it to Indiana State. They pull off a win where they were. I don't believe they were favored in this one. I think they were a 4-point dog at Ball State. Rivalry game. First D1 win for Matthew Graves and the Sycamores there.
I like it. I will go with Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. They go into Washington, D.C. and fucking smack their ass. And they're still undefeated.
Yeah, they are. They've been a little bit of a roller coaster on the still undefeated train, but good performances.
Today was good.
I'm gonna go with Florida Atlantic, an overtime fire game down there in Charleston, neutral court game between the Owls and the Flamin' Libs, and the Owls they win on. They played on back-to-back nights. Liberty was coming in fresh. I think that's a quality win for FAU and John Jacobs.
And my final game ball, I'll go Radford. My guy Darius Nichols battling back from 22 down in Evansville to win by double digits. All of a sudden, Radford's won 3 in a row as well. It's a Radford game ball for me.
Who do I go for the final game ball? I will do fuck it. East Carolina. Double overtime victory over George Mason. That's a brand play. If Colby was on here, he'd be doing it too, because the win over NC Nick's squad, that just needs to be on the graphic tomorrow. So East Carolina game ball. Let's jump into some picks today. And I'm going to need to get a second to pull up all these updated lines here. I'm going to use Tally Site so we can get best lines and direct people to books, since we didn't get our hands on Colby's slides today. But we'll see how this way of doing the pick show works, if I can get my tablet to load the slate up here. Game 1 is William and Mary at Georgia Southern. This line currently you can find +1.5 on both teams. So shop around. This one is taking place in Rock Hill, South Carolina, on Winthrop's campus here. Mac, where are you going to go in this one?
I will lock up the first game. I will lock up William and Mary. They are 0-2 in this event. Georgia Southern 2-0. I think you get a little bit of a desperate spot here. And this line's a little fishy. Like I said, the 0-2 team versus the 2-0 team. And it's basically a pick. I think William and Mary's not bad. They've lost close games. Give me Bill and Mary, and I will lock the first game on the slate.
I'm going to take Georgia Southern. I don't feel a whole lot of conviction one way or the other here. But any lock music that you're going to play for yourself tonight through the
here we go. Let's go. Bill and Mary. Moneyline Mac.
There we go. Next game on the slate. This is the thumbnail game of the day, as my tally site does this to me every once in a while. It freezes and you can't move. But
I'm going off VSiN.
Okay.
Like VSiN, at least I know is not going to glitch on me. And I mean, everybody knows shop around for the best number.
All right, New Mexico at St. John's. What number are you getting this at? As I'll pull up VSiN.
This is sitting at a flat 10. What do you think? I think I want to lock New Mexico.
Yeah, that's right on the cocktail napkins number 2.
I don't think old man Pitino is going to blow out young Pitino.
Neither do I, and I think I don't know what's going on with St. John's right now.
Yeah.
They have played close games against Quinnipiac and Wagner. They dressed it up late, but Kadari Richmond's coming off the bench in both of those games with not the greatest performances. So he only had 3 points against Quinnipiac and then 2 points against Wagner. I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on there, but I'm just not as sold on St. John's early 3-0 record compared to what New Mexico's done. They already looked really, really good against UCLA. They're a little bit more battle tested than I would like St. John's to be at this point. So give me the Lobos.
I do you want to make this a double lock? I think St. John's wins by 6 or 7. It's at the Garden.
Yeah,
it might be late. It's a neutral site.
Neutral site.
It's a neutral site.
It's a home game. They're playing home game.
I don't view that Garden as a home court, like it is when they actually play in Queens. When they play in Queens, that thing gets loud.
Yeah, but it's still a home game. Where do I even in today's matchups? I assume I don't even use some.
And hey, Richard grew up in New York, man. This is a get up spot for him. Man, I hope New Mexico wins. I hope New Mexico wins this game so bad. That'd be great to see little Pitino beat big Pitino. I'm
not gonna lock this. I'm gonna take the Lobos, but I'm not locking this.
All right. Let's give me the Lobos. Richard Pitino over Rick Pitino. All right, next up.
Yeah, next game here is Canisius at Western Michigan, the final game of this little 3-team MTE. Canisius is getting 5 points at Western, and Western is 0. Both of these teams 0-1 with losses to SIUE. So, Mac, where are you going to go in this matchup?
I think Western Michigan's the side. I mean, what do you think? They have the best.
So, how are you judging Canisius so far under Jimmy Christian?
Good question. I think they're going to be better throughout the year, but it's still early.
Yeah, it is. But I think this is the most winnable game they've had.
You locking Canisius?
No, I'm not locking anything. I haven't seen anything for me to lock it, but they played Arizona Bonaventure. Mercyhurst was their first D1 win, and then SIUE in my book, Western Michigan's been like the most winnable game they've had, and you don't want to lose. You don't want to leave Kalamazoo without a win. So I'm going to take Canisius here.
On the other side, Kalamazoo, like Western Michigan, you don't want to fucking go 0-2 in your own goddamn event. I mean, I feel like Western Michigan's the side.
I'm taking the points.
All right, there you go. Going against the Michigan schools. What we got next?
In South Dakota, this game is being played. St. Mary's and Nebraska. The Gaels are laying 3.5 points here. Cocktail Napkin has Nebraska only catching a 0.5 point. And I think I'm a little bit off on Nebraska so far. St. Mary's has looked pretty dang good so far this season. 19-point win against Akron, 14 against Chattanooga. Towson, who's looked great, wins by 7. And they have the big man in Paulius Morauskas that I really didn't account for coming into this year from Arizona. He's been a stud so far. So add him to Augustus Marshallonis and Mitchell Saxon, and St. Mary's has a power 3 once again. I'm going to lay the points with St. Mary's. Go against Cocktail Napkin here in this one.
I'm taking Nebraska. I think Nebraska's going to win the game outright up there at the Pentagon. I think it's 2 evenly matched teams. I think St. Mary's might be a tad better, but I think you'll get more of a Nebraska pro crowd at the Pentagon.
You might, for sure. I don't think St. Mary's is really traveling.
Yeah, I'm going to lock Nebraska. If I think they're going to win the game, I'm getting 3.5. I'll lock up the Cornhuskers. Go Big Red. I don't think St. Mary's is that good either. And they haven't played away from they're really good home court atmosphere either. So 2 evenly matched teams, in my opinion. Give me Nebraska. Go Big Red.
That's fair. My Wi-Fi is struggling a little bit here. But another fire matchup here on Sunday. Don't ask me why they're all right here at 1:00, but Clemson has their return game of a home to Boise State. Last year, the Tigers pantsed Boise State. They won 85-65 in Clemson, South Carolina. This year, Boise returns most of that team. They're going to remember that game. Clemson still has a couple of question marks. I think they did a great job in replacing the production that they lost from an Elite 8 team last year, but they haven't been challenged. Charleston Southern, St. Francis, Eastern Kentucky so far this season. I like Boise at home. This is a far travel spot. Weird game for Clemson to sign up and go play in Boise, but I love it. But I am going to lock up Boise State. Cocktail Napkin has them -5. You can get them -3 right now. That's going to be my first bet of the day.
I'll join you. This will be a double lock for us, Noah. Love Boise here. Veteran group. And they remember getting drove by Clemson. Clemson's not the same team from last year, and it's their first true road spot. And they got to go to Boise for a noon tip. Boise going to drill them here. Let's go.
Yeah, I like the first true road game angle as well. Usually keen to remember to bring that up, but unfortunately I forgot. But thanks for coming in and helping me out on the handicap there. So double lock on Boise State. Jacksonville State heads into Conway, South Carolina to play the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. The Gamecocks are laying 1.5 in this one. Mac, your thoughts?
I think I'll take the Cox here. I'm not high on Coastal. But I don't think these two teams or either team's really good. So give me Jack State, no bet.
Is Veasan missing a game or two here?
You skipped over Princeton and Merrimack.
Yeah, Veasan doesn't have that on my website.
I got it. Just we can give out Jack State, Coastal.
That we also didn't have Stonehill, Lindenwood. But for the record, I'm gonna take the points with Coastal Carolina. I think they win the game at home. But We skipped. I mean, I don't see Campbell Navy. I don't see Stonehill Lindenwood. I don't see Princeton Merrimack. What kind of website did you give me?
I'm looking at VSiN right now, and I see Princeton Merrimack 6.5 point line.
I don't see any of these games.
You got that cheap fucking shit over there. All right, so to take over here, Princeton laying 6.5 at Merrimack. This game is at Merrimack, correct?
Oh, I had to filter. I've never used this website.
Fucking blaming me over there, jackass.
I didn't know I had to do. It's not fucking up. It's not a I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Princeton Merrimack, Princeton Merrimack Tigers are -6.5. Mac, what are you doing in this matchup?
Oh, dude, I think I'm gonna take Princeton's off that fucking Loyola loss. Princeton's been underwhelming, but is this the spot they get right? I think so. I'll lay with Princeton.
I'm gonna take the points with Merrimack. I think that Merrimack's looked really impressive this season, and they're at home. I mean, the two games that they've played so far, they beat Vermont at home 65-51. They lost to VCU 63-42. Yes, they did lose by 21, but they held VCU to their lowest point outcome this season so far. They put up 84, 88, and 83 in their three other games. To hold VCU to 63, I think Merrimack's defense has held up pretty solid so far this season. And Princeton's hitting the road. And I'm gonna take the points with Merrimack. The Warriors, Campbell, Navy. These two are playing, and I don't have a line here. What in the world, Mac? Do you have a line, Campbell?
Well,
Navy?
I will say no. A lot of these games don't have lines yet. Like Stonehill, Lindenwood don't have a line out, so that's why there's it's not out there. You're looking for Campbell and Navy, no line out. There's no line out yet. So that's why it's not popping up. I got action up too. So like I got multiple outlets. Chat, if you see any of these pop up, let us know. They're probably, I mean, college basketball is still a little bit behind, you think, in the books makers' priorities with NFL tomorrow, college football today.
NFL's been out for a week.
Yeah, but I mean that they're heavily monitoring that one the most. Like you're getting heavy volume of dollars.
It's not moving to. I don't know.
I just think that they're not like, oh my god, we got to get the Campbell Navy line out, or we got to get Stonehill Lindenwood out. Like it's not like, oh my god, we got to get this out.
So Navy is laying 3.5 against Campbell here, and I'm gonna lay the points with the midshipmen. Campbell is a interesting team, I would say the least. Or just for me, they lost at home to St. Francis, but they competed against Virginia. That was within the same week. You could say a little bit of a letdown from the Cavs game. They have 2 wins against non-D1 opponents. I'm going to take Navy at home. And Mac, what are you going to do in this one?
No, should we bet Navy? I'm going to bet Navy. Campbell beat him last year. I think Navy is noticeably a better team than Campbell this year, and they're coming off a home loss to Ryder. I like the midshipmen here on Sunday. I'll lock up Navy in the Navy. Here we go. Locking up the Navy midship.
All right, and then Lindenwood, Stonehill. I'm pulling this game up too. I saw the line.
Where'd you go? Offshore?
No, I'm tally site, but it keeps freezing. It's crazy.
You pull up tally as well. I hate going off tally for that reason though, because it'll fucking glitch out on your ass.
Yeah, Stonehill is laying 1.5 against Lindenwood here.
Who put that out? What book put out that line? Just out of curiosity.
It looks like it's Fanatics Sportsbook. So. I mean, shout out to them for putting out the early line.
No doubt.
I don't think this is enough against Lindenwood, Mac. This is a borderline lock. Cocktail Napkins got Stonehill -3. and Lindenwood does not look good. 8-point loss, New Orleans, 14-point loss to Robert Morris in the first 2 games of this MTE. I trust Stonehill a little bit more. They beat New Orleans 80-54. Why aren't we locking this?
Well, I want to lock Lindenwood.
Oh, you're a maniac.
Stonehill just won by 30. They will never, ever, ever win by 30 ever again.
They had a day off in Pittsburgh.
Oh, they can
go sightsee.
They were probably at the Pitt Clemson game
city
today, fucking doing shots of Fireball and whatever they're doing because they can't afford anything more expensive than that at Stonehill. I'm locking Lindenwood. Lindenwood's going to salvage the final game of the 3-game MTE getaway.
They were probably enjoying some nice icy light.
Yeah,
a great
probably.
Pittsburgh beer.
Oh, I'm all over Lindenwood. We can battle here. You want to battle?
Yeah, this is a battle. Yeah, Stonehill.
Your bet. All right, your bet. Noah Bieniek is buying the Stonehill Graveyard off the 30-point win.
And you're laying it with Lindenwood after losing to New Orleans.
They were down 20 in that game, came all the way back, and they actually looked all right against Bob.
Didn't come all the way back. They still lost by 8.
Yeah, but they showed fight. They're going to get one of these games. Stonehill ain't going 2-1 in this event.
They are if the other opponents, Lindenwood and New Orleans.
Lindenwood's going to fuck them up.
Those are 2 of the 6 worst teams in college basketball this year. Next game here that we have, we're all over the place with the sites that we're using and whatnot. Have we covered all of the 1 o'clock games? Yes.
All 1 o'clock games are covered. Yes.
So Citadel, NC-A&T, the Bulldogs are -3.5 against the Aggies. They're also catching 4 on DraftKings. The Aggies are, so that's where you can get the best price on that. Mac, Citadel or A&T here?
I feel like A&T is the right side here, Noah.
I do too.
I think they've played all right. I think they're better than their 1-2 record. Citadel a little bit overvalued. I'll take A&T. I'm not going to bet it though.
Yeah, the only win A&T's got is against Shaney, and they only lost by 5 against George Washington. So,
and Wake.
Yeah, I would
they
say
were
that
competitive with Wake too, right?
They were competitive with Wake. I would say that's a correct statement. Cocktail napkin for what it's worth. It doesn't have a fade or a buy on either of these teams, but only has A&T +1. So I'll take the Aggies here in this spot.
Shout out to 357 for $20, and he's busting your chops.
He says LeBaron oil change. Let's go.
Yeah,
he's asking if I don't work on Fridays.
That's a good one. Cheers. That's a good one.
I mean, it's just kind of how the cards have fallen. Monty, Clemson game was covered. We double locked Boise. Boise. Miami is laying 32.5 points against Coppin State. And Mac, tell me why this is not enough points.
Well, I'm not the one that keeps trying to go to that Coppin State fucking shit. That's Colby. Who's Miami? I think Miami's in that Charleston MTE though.
Yes,
yeah, they play. I'll take the points. Miami wins by 30. I'm not betting Coppin. Fuck that. Fuck that.
I'm laying it. I'm laying the points with Miami. I still think they roll. But the look ahead spot is enough to keep me off a bet here. Manhattan is at Fairleigh Dickinson tomorrow. The Jaspers are laying 3.
Oof. I think Fair Dick beats them.
Yeah, is this a wrong team favorite here?
Or is this an overreaction to Manhattan winning a home dog game, get up spot? Now they got to travel on Sunday.
I think it is. And Fairleigh Dickinson's played Miami, Creighton, and Nebraska so far this year. They've gotten steamrolled in all 3 games. We don't really know what Fair Dick's going to look like. And Manhattan just beat Fordham, who – yeah, Fordham has a win against Seton Hall, but I don't think they're very good this season.
You want to double lock this? I'm going to lock Fair Dick. I think they're going to win the game outright. Who's Manhattan to be looking points on the road now? I mean, what?
Yeah, I think this is a wrong team favored situation, wrong team favored spot. So let's lock fair dick.
Lock. Everybody loves fair dick. You like him
Yes,
now?
sir.
There.
Whatever. The FDU Knights, sure. Harvard at Colorado. The Buffaloes laying 13.5 at Circa right now. And you can find a 14.5 on Harvard for what it's worth. But Harvard has been a little disappointing to me to start the year. Blowout loss on Northeastern, lose by 12 to American. They lose to Navy, but that one I can understand a little bit. Colorado has been surprisingly impressive in a way. The 20-point win against Eastern Washington, a 30-point win against Fullerton. The double overtime game in Northern Colorado is a little bit concerning, but NoCo has looked okay in other games this season so far. Mac, where are you going in this matchup?
Harvard fringe lock for me. Colorado, I'm still not buying into them laying big numbers. They got Sparty on deck.
Maui on deck.
Yeah, the Maui look ahead spot. So I kind of like Harvard in the spot to keep it within that 13.5 number. This number has come down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay it with Colorado. I was relatively hopeful for Harvard this year, but I have not seen too much to make me want to back them so far. So, yeah, Cocktail Napkin, for what it's worth, has the Buffs minus 17 in this spot. But Maui look ahead, I'll stay away. Let's go to NC Central at Winthrop in this Rock Hill MTE. Winthrop just lost yesterday, so do we see a bounce back for them? They're laying 10, Mac.
10's a lot. Yeah, I'll lay with Winthrop. Central just got a big win as well. Finally got their first win of the year. I think it's a fade. Give me Winthrop.
I like that. Yeah, I'll lay the 10 points with the Eagles as well. Chattanooga is playing SEMO, hitting the road here. They're laying 6.5 points. You can even get 7.5 on Southeast Missouri State if you shop around. Mac, what are you doing in this matchup? This one's an interesting one.
I think I may take the home dog here. I just feel like, man, Chattanooga plays every single night, and now they're still banged up to a certain degree. Now they're hitting the road again. Give me SEMO.
Yeah, I thought that
travel in 2 weeks,
the Morehead State game that was a big win. They beat Morehead State by 14, and now they're hitting the road after pretty quickly after the win, like you mentioned here. Yeah, I still think Chattanooga wins, but I'll take the 7.5 with the home team too. Texas Southern at Samford, 12.5 points. The Bulldogs are laying here. Cocktail Napkin only has them laying 10. Again, kind of has Samford given you, I guess, enough comfortability to lay this many points with them so far? They had an overtime win against North Alabama, 97-96. They lost to Cornell, 88-86. They haven't played any defense so far this season. I'm going to take the points with the Tigers.
I'm going to lock Texas Southern. Late. I mean, that game is late Friday night too. That game is late. Like that game didn't end till midnight. Now you got to travel back, and you're laying double digits against Texas Southern, who has historically been all right in bye games. So give me a Texas Southern as a lock. How about
Double lock.
All right, let's go. A little dog it up, baby.
Yes, sir.
That ain't it. Hit the wrong button. Texas Southern, baby. Swag shit.
All right. Yeah, I just I think the buckyball carries a little bit more weight this season when they did lose quite a bit of production from last year. Lipscomb hits the road to Bowling Green, Kentucky to play Western Kentucky. The Tops are laying 3.5 in a fire mid-major matchup here. Mac, where are you going to go in this one? This is a really good game here at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, this is a hell of a game. So we got Lipscomb coming off a home loss. Western Kentucky. I think Western Kentucky's a little bit too much for them. I'm going to lay the 3.5. I think they make their free throws at the end, win by 5 or 6, but I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to enjoy watching this one. I can tell you that.
I'm going to take Lipscomb. I think that this is a team that has that 3-point shooting, variation to where, like, if they are hitting, they're able to pull away. They could win this thing. And also, if they're not, they could lose by 15. But I'm going to take the experience with the Bisons with Lipscomb. So we're going to – I think they win that game outright for what it's worth. Austin Peay heads into Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee laying 27.5 in some spots, 28.5. Cocktail Napkin loves this thing. Has the Govs just plus 21. And Mac, where are you going to go in this matchup?
Historically, the Govs get fucked up by the Vols. It is a big number, though.
Yeah.
Do we have
Tennessee?
a look at
Tennessee plays in the Bahamas next week, Thursday. I like this.
Let's look at the Govs, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to bet the Govs here as well. 28.5.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah. Double lock on my Govs. Disrespect. And Tennessee did look. I mean, they've covered 2 in a row. They're due for a little sleepwalk spot against our Govs.
I think so. Holy Cross plays against New Hampshire tomorrow. This one looks to be
-2.
Is this one on campus? No,
well, no,
it's in Providence.
Yeah, they're in that MTE.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to double check that. Holy Cross -1.5 in this matchup against the Wildcats. New Hampshire's looked like dog shit. Mac, is this one of your? Are you going with the angle that New Hampshire's going to want to leave here with a W compared to Holy Cross leaving here 3-0?
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm going to bet against Holy Cross going 3-0. Give me New Hampshire.
I'm going to take Holy Cross.
I'll probably lock this tomorrow. This would be the one spot all year.
Why? This one smells like dog shit.
Oh, because they got to get one. They got to get one.
How is New Hampshire just +1.5 against the 76-58 loss to Brown and an 80-63 loss to Sacred Heart? They've gotten blown the fuck out against 2 teams that just don't do it for me. Dude, this thing smells like dog shit. I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna lock up Holy Cross. Cocktail Napkins got them favored by 4.
Oh boy!
And if you do the transitive, if you do the Patty tuck job, the Patty C tuck job, Holy Cross, they get this thing done by 10 points. Lock it up. Do we have a battle?
New Hampshire winning this game. This is the fucking Courtney Love. Makes no sense. 3rd game of the MTE in 4 days. I'm on New Hampshire. You're on Holy Cross. Good luck laying points to Holy Cross.
Good luck taking 1.5 with New Hampshire. You're basically just asking them to win outright, which you've predicted that for what it's worth, but I don't see that. I don't love it. Not going to take it. I'm actually going to fade it. Now let's talk about UC Davis at Stanford. The Cardinal laying 12.5, 13.5 in some places here. Stanford looked okay to start this season, Mac. Where are you going to go in this matchup?
I would say Stanford's looked pretty damn good for expectations. They've covered every single game, which makes me want to take Cal Davis here. Looking ahead, Stanford they don't have a look ahead. I'll just take the points, no bet here.
I am also going to take the points here. This is a little bit of a, buyback spot. Stanford maybe flying a little bit close to the sun. Cocktail Napkin has, taking them taking a step back at some point here throughout the next week or two. Only +8 in this spot. I don't necessarily love it with Davis, but I'm going to take it the +8 here on the picks page. +13.5 for what the best price out there. I'm going to take the Aggies. Next game on our slate. This is another one that smells like shit, Mac. Montana State at Denver, and the Bobcats are only laying 3.5, 4.5 in some spots, but this one, Cocked Napkin only has them laying 2. I don't know what's up with the water in Denver, but what are your thoughts on this matchup?
So what? Denver's coming off. They looked all right against Colorado State the other night. I think we should dive into it here. I like.
They
Montana.
played Colorado Christian in between. They won by 23.
I think Montana State's the right side here.
Yeah, I mean, they lost by 20 to Wichita. They lost by 12 to Wisconsin. They beat Northwest Indian, but that don't really account for the power rating. They're a little bit. What'd you say?
I said those teams are a little bit better than Denver.
Yeah, they're a little bit underrated here, for what it's worth. So Cocked Napkin seems a little bit off on the Bobs right now. I'm going to lay the points with Montana State. How about you?
I'm locking it. Montana State lock.
Denver was good at home last year. They're nowhere near last year's team. They don't have Bruner, but I don't love fading them here at home. I'm not going to lock it. You can have fun, though. I'll be rooting for you.
Let's go Bobcats. Lock it up.
All right. New Orleans is taking on Robert Morris. Romo is -9 in this matchup. Mac, do the Colonials, do they go 3-0 in their MTE?
I'll take the points. I think Robert Morris wins a single-digit game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think New Orleans is good enough to take advantage of a Robert Morris team that I don't think is very good. Cocked on Napkin has this thing at just 4.5, but the Privateers are not the team that I'm looking to take it. I'm going to lay the points with Romo. I think they clean up the competition that was just poor in their MTE. Utah and Mississippi State, they're playing in a neutral site in Mississippi. South Haven, Mississippi. This is where the Ole Miss Colorado State game was at yesterday. Utah's getting 6.5 points in some spots. Mississippi State -5.5 on FanDuel. Mac, your thoughts on this one? This is a really interesting game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lock the Utes. I think Utah is a little bit better than people thought coming into the year. I know it is their first road game, but I mean it's just a game in the state of Mississippi. I don't know how much the Mississippi State fans are going to travel for this game. Like, they're not a hardcore loyal fan base, in my opinion, outside Starkville. I'll take Utah. I think Utah's alive in this game. Give me 6.5. I'll lock up the Utes.
I don't think either team's been challenged this season so far. And for what it's worth, Cocked on Napkin only has Utes +3. So interesting difference in this matchup. But I don't have kind of any point on either one of these two teams. They've played tomato cans up until this point this season. So I'm just going to take the points with Utah. No bet from me. I'm interested to see the outcome of this game.
Give me the Utes.
That's a game that I think might be close come the final minutes. Maybe Utah fouls themselves out of a cover, but I think Mississippi State wins that thing. And I think you're underestimating the fan base of Hail State.
There won't be anybody at that game. Watch.
I think the crowd helps them win the game. The third and final game, speaking of crowds might be able to aiding their team to a victory, Liberty's playing on back-to-back days after just an overtime game against Florida Atlantic. Charleston played a double overtime game against Florida Atlantic on Friday. They're back here on Sunday for game 2 of this 3-game MTE. They're taking on the Flaming Libs of Liberty. Laying 2.5 on FanDuel. Circa has Liberty +4. Those are the two best prices you can find right now. Mac, very, very fun game here. 4 o'clock Eastern. Where are you going to go?
I'll go Liberty. I think it's going to be a one-possession game again. So give me the points when in doubt. I'm not going to bet this one this time.
I'm also going to take Liberty. This one, I don't love betting on a team that's playing on a back-to-back when another team is not. But we just saw it yesterday. Technically, I think Liberty covered it. So 2.5 is short. But I'll take the –
if I could get like 4.5 with Liberty, I'd bet Liberty.
You can get 4.
Session game like the other games.
Yeah, you can get 4. Circa's got 4. That's the best price out there.
I think I might bet Liberty then at 4.
I'm not going to bet this one, but this is going to be a great game, just like the other ones. It sucks that it's like right there at the wrap up of the 1 o'clock NFL games and the beginning of the 4 o'clock games. This is going to be on YouTube for anybody looking to watch it that hasn't watched any of the first 2 games here. I think Charleston gets it done. The home crowd, I think, is a factor that we've got to take into account. That place was lit for the FAU game. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Charleston here. UCSB is laying 6 at San Jose State.
Good
Mac.
Lord, San Jose.
Tim Miles and the Spartans have not had the best start to the season this year.
You think? Who's more disappointing, San Jose or San Diego? Lavin or Miles?
San Diego.
I think you're right. I think I like San Jose here. I mean, 6.5 point dog against Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara doesn't play any defense either, so like that. Could help.
I mean, goddamn. I mean, come on, Miles, you got to pop up here. Yeah, give me San Jose.
I am going to go with San Jose too. I just think the Gauchos will let them hang around long enough in this one. They haven't really. The Fresno State game, I think that's very, very similar competition to San Jose State. They let the Bulldogs hang around too long in that one. So, and that was a home game for the UCSB. So I'll take the points with the Spartans as well. Troy heads into Eugene, Oregon. Mac, I'm going to let you go. I think I know what you're going to do here, and it might be bold. Troy at Oregon. Oregon's laying 11.5. You can find 13.5 on Troy at FanDuel right now.
My only concern is did Oregon escape their scared the other night, you know? I'm going to take Troy. It's a far trip. Give me Troy. I'm going to stay away from a lock here.
Ooh. A little bit of a road trip for Troy. They played at New Orleans. They played at Arkansas. And now they're in Oregon.
Yep.
Does it help that they were already on the road halfway there? Halfway-ish?
Well, I mean, they were in the state of I don't know. It's just been a lot of travel. That's why I'm a little reluctant to just be like,
yeah.
If this had been opening night, I would have bet Troy.
Okay. To your point, like Oregon just had an overtime wake-up call, possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a really fun matchup of styles. Troy's defense has been solid so far this season. I think they're going to be solid for the year. And Oregon's got a pretty good offense. The defense has been a little suspect so far this season. Honestly, just kind of all around Oregon so far, a little suspect, but the offense has definitely been a little bit better. I think Troy covers the 13.5. I think that's a lot of points. I'm going to take the 13.5. Sam Houston at Lamar. I'm going to lock Sam Houston. They're laying 6 here. Lamar has been a fade for me the entire year on the cocktail napkin. It has Sam Houston -9 here. They're coming off of the shellacking that they just received the other night from Baylor. I think this is a big time bounce back for Sam Houston, Mac.
I'll join you here. I know it's a square ass play, just because Sam Houston's much better. But I think this chalk wins here. Give me let's go Sam Houston. Double lock. There we go. That's a double lock. I'm with you. They're just significantly better. Oh my God. I think the undefeated season of BYU's finally ending.
Really?
Yeah. I think the Jayhawks are going to get them. I bet the Jayhawks +3.
Oh, you were on it?
I mean, dude, at some point it's like BYU football. You can't just win every fucking game by the skim of your teeth. They still control their destiny for the playoff, though.
Sacred Heart is +9 in some areas. Circa has them +9. Brown laying 7.5. This is more around 8.5 in most places. But the Brown Bears are laying up to 9 points against Sacred Heart. I don't know, what's validated Brown to be laying this many points against the Pios. I'm going to take the Pios in this matchup, Mac.
I'm going to lay with Brown. I think it's telling. They just laid an egg today. Did they bounce back here? Give me Brown.
All right. I'm taking the +9 with Sacred Heart there. Cal Poly in Chennai, Washington, to take on Eastern Washington. The Eagles are laying 5.5 in some spots. Cal Poly +6.5. Mac, very fun game here out west at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. local time. Your thoughts? Where are you going to go in this one?
Yeah, so Pauly won the upset game the other night against Seattle. Now they're hitting the road. E-Dubs look good.
Both of them have looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, E-Dub beat Seattle at home, and then they went to Missouri, and they were in that game the entire way. I think I'm going to take Cal Poly. No bet for me here on this game.
Yeah, both of these teams have beaten Seattle. And Poly's actually looked better against their power conference foes than Eastern Washington. And Eastern Washington, in my opinion, have played the lesser of the two. So I'm actually going to go with the Mustangs here. And it's not their first road game. They played at San Fran, at Cal. So they kept both of those close. I think they do the same here. They might even win it. So I'm going to go with the Mustangs +6.5 in this game. Baylor is laying 28.5. If you're looking for the side on Tarleton, you can find them at +30. But FanDuel, 28.5 on Baylor. The Cocktail Napkin has Baylor as a bye because they got blown out by Gonzaga opening night, and I assume that probably tanked some of the metrics. But even as a bye, this puts it right at 28. So I don't love it, but Tarleton has been so bad to open up the season, Mac. What are you going to do in this game?
I will take the points. They got St. John's on deck in that tournament.
Yeah. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay with Baylor. I still think that they did it with Sam Houston. They put it on the Bearcats. I think they do it again with the Texans here. They might have figured something out in the Arkansas game. Who knows? But I think Tarleton's just doesn't have enough firepower to stay in this game with Baylor. Is this we've got St. Thomas. That's a weird abbreviation on our sheet with no logo either on Tally site. But our Tommies travel in to Tempe to play Arizona State. The Sun Devils are laying 11.5. You can get the Tommies at 12.5 on FanDuel. Mac, what are you going to do in this one?
This is a lock. Tommies all day, man. Dude, Arizona State has played a gauntlet. They beat Grand Canyon as a dog. They almost beat Gonzaga as a dog. They beat Santa Clara as a dog. Now they're coming back home laying double digits. The Tommies are a lock tomorrow. Let's go.
This is
They're
a brutal.
They're live in this game. This is a brutal team to play after that stretch.
I don't know. This is a brutal travel spot for Thomas. Like I understand everything that you're saying, but they just played a home game Friday. 1 day of travel to get down into the southwest portion of the country. Arizona State. What?
It's a night game though, not an afternoon game.
Yeah, and I think it's a game that they'll get up for. But it's enough to keep me off of betting them. I think that's brutal. Going from the most northern part of the country down to the southwest is tough in one night. So I'm going to take the points, but I am not betting this. You playing your music?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to pull it up.
I was wondering if you were contemplating a lock or
where we got there.
I'm trying to find the music.
Tommyville.
Cal visits SoCal, Southern California, USC. The Trojans are laying 9.5 points. Cocktail Napkin only has this a 5-point game. USC did get Terrence Williams back from injury the other night, but they do not look sharp so far this season, in my opinion, for the Trojans. Mac, what's your angle in this game?
I'm locking Cal. I'm not. USC has been playing with fire a couple of these early games. I don't think that they're going to blow out Cal. I think we're getting an inflated line just because of Muss and the USC brand. Give me Cal.
I'll add that Cal got their shit kicked in at Vanderbilt.
And Madsen should be back. Madsen should be back.
Yeah, they got their shit kicked in without their head coach. Had a baby, so was on paternity leave. But the guys just enjoyed a nice trip to Nashville. But I think this is a bounce back game, and they get a win for the baby bump. That's a thing in professional sports. It's got to be a thing for a head coach having a kid too. So let's lock up Cal. 10.5 points you're getting on Cal. Double lock.
Cal, Grizzly Golden Bears. Lock it up.
Yes, sir. Weber State is taking they have a hard ticket to Hawaii here. The Wildcats +5. You can also find the Bows at -4.5 on FanDuel. Mac, what are you going to do with Weber State and the Rainbow Warriors?
I'll go right back to it. I'll lock up Weber.
What were you laughing about?
No, I mean, I was just laughing that I'm going back to it. Weber going out to Hawaii, desperate spot here, back-to-back disappointing losses. I don't think Hawaii's as good as their 3-0 record. Give me Weber outright on the island. Let's go.
I'm going to take the Bows. They're my boys. They've been they haven't proved me wrong so far this season. So I'm going to lay the points with Hawaii here. Go ahead and play your music.
Let's go. I just need Weber to make some layup, unlike fucking Pacific, and we win.
All right.
Let's go, Weber.
Final game on the slate. Final game of the week. It's taking place in Seattle, Washington. UMass Lowell got their shit kicked in at
That's
Gonzaga.
a nice way of putting it.
Murdered. Sure. They got murdered in Spokane. Now they head over to Seattle in a game they should be a little bit more competitive in. They're playing Washington. Washington, the Huskies, are laying 9.5 on FanDuel. You can get Lowell up to +11. Mac, we've used this in other areas as well for road trips. You usually get pushed around in the first game, and in the second game you're looking to get one before you leave, or at least have a really competitive game. And I think Lowell could find themselves in a close one against Washington, who's kind of struggled with everybody so far this season. What are you going to do in this matchup?
I'm locking up Lowell. I think they're live in this game. Washington struggled with Seattle Pacific whatever university the other night. They've looked like shit. And who are they to be playing double digits? Give me UMass Lowell pride game here off getting absolutely killed by Gonzaga. Newsflash, Gonzaga is not Gonzaga is a little bit ahead of Washington. Yeah. I think Lowell might win this game outright.
I think
points.
They need this game to be a low scoring game. Lowell's not what's the word I'm looking for? They're not prepared, or they're not equipped. They're not equipped to win a high scoring matchup. But Washington really hasn't threatened to score too many points so far this season. 79 against Davis, 53 against Nevada, 77 against Seattle Pacific. Yeah, I'll lock up the 11 with you on UMass Lowell here. Cocktail Napkins only got it at 9. So yeah, let's ride. Let's take the
double lock on the
Riverhawks.
final game of the evening. And shout out to college basketball for the 10 o'clock game.
Yeah, we'll be doing a pick show during this one probably.
No doubt.
Tomorrow night. Tune in to the college basketball experience. Mac, your favorite picks for tomorrow's slate. Let's recap it all.
Let's go heavy dogs tomorrow. Let's go the Lobos of New Mexico taking on St. John's in the Pitino Bowl. It's going to be a single-digit game. I'll take the 10. And then I will go with my Tommies and Cal. Those are my 3.
Yeah, I believe Mac called my favorite play of the day square play, but it is my favorite play of the day. Sam Houston, -6 at Lamar. Lock it up, lay it. Favorite play. I think that one cashes by double digits. Play number 2. I like the Cal angle. Let's take the 10.5 with the Golden Bears against USC. And I'm also going to lay the 3 with the Boise State Broncos in a revenge angle against Clemson, who cleaned their plate last year with Boise State in Clemson, South Carolina. Return game in Boise, Idaho. A little bit of a culture shock for all those guys from Clemson, I think. And, I'll take the Broncos -3. That's going to wrap up today's show. You can follow the show on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. You can follow my partner here, Ryan McIntyre, on Twitter at moneyline_Mac. You can follow myself at NoahB77_. Mac, anything that you want to add before we close this thing out?
No, we'll be back tomorrow. Top 25 show and the pick show. So we're back. It's a good slate, and then we're heading into feast week, or it's kind of the next week's pre-feast week, and then we get into real feast week the next week.
Yeah. I might be doing a Monday morning market watch. We might be introducing that kind of cocktail napkin idea, but kind of monitoring the power ratings in the sports betting market. It's an idea. We'll see how I'm feeling come Sunday night or Monday. But yeah, follow Colby on Twitter as well, and they're going to be going live here shortly if they're not already live.
Any minute now.
Yeah. So just jump right over there. Same channel here on YouTube, College Experience -SGPN, but it's the College Football Experience on podcast platforms. Check them out. Check out Colby on Twitter, Colby at the Colby D. So yeah, check out the College Football Experience, the FCS College Football Experience. This has been the College Basketball Experience. We've also got the College Baseball Experience, the Big 12 College Experience, and there's plenty more from SGPN that you might like. The Sports Gambling Podcast talks NFL every single day, but we also got NBA, NHL, NASCAR gambling podcasts, golf gambling podcasts. There's something for everybody at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and we highly encourage you to go in there, check it out. We appreciate all the people that have been watching live with us today. We had over 400 of you guys across all platforms. Sorry, I couldn't really keep up with the chat as much today, but we'll always incorporate you guys whenever we can. This has been the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Football just went live. Everybody get on over there.